Arsenal coming out 1-0. The thing that really got me, Mark, right, is that normally if you're playing in a game, right, and especially me doing AFTV and interviewing fans and that, you find a little dynamic that sometimes you play in a game, there's been a bit of controversy when it comes to a referee, but you've won, so everyone kind of just forgets it. Or it might be sort of, oh yeah, that ref decision, thank God that didn't change it. This one was the first thing every fan wanted to talk about. They weren't even talking about Calafiori's goal, the result. They were just like, what was Michael Oliver thinking? What did you make of it, Mark?
I think first of all, well done to Arsenal fans, because I think we've all been in that position where you get a really big win and the referee decision that's controversial sort of gets swept under the carpet. The fact that it didn't, you had Ian Wright doing a TikTok, just shows you, even with the win, Arsenal fans, and let's not forget other fans, absolutely disgusted with it. I mean, it's controversial, I suppose, in a sense, but the PGMOL coming out yesterday about abuse and threats and everything like that, look, that's never acceptable. You've had it. I've had it. In a way, let that get dealt with by the police. But what I feel will happen is, and we've already seen it in the mainstream, I've heard Jeff Stelling this morning saying, you know, he's just a human being, mistakes happen. No, wrong. This is two separate things. If people want to send death threats and be abusive, let the police deal with it. Let the PGMOL deal with it. Let's deal with the issue. That was a shocking decision that everybody knows was shocking. And it's not the first time with that referee. I mean, you look back to last season, the Doku assault on McAllister at Anfield inexplicably does that. The West Ham penalty against Man United that got Ten Hag the sack. It's week in, week out. It's not just Michael Oliver. There was one on Endo from Enciso. That was a red card at the weekend. The PGMOL have got to stop coming out with stuff like, oh, it's, you know, deal with the threats. That's absolutely fine. We'll all agree with that. But the actual officiating in this country for 2 years has been abysmal. Arsenal have had loads. Wolves have had loads last year. This is a football issue. And what I don't want to see is people like Jamie Redknapp, Jamie Carragher, Jeff Stelling getting the memo from their bosses because the PGMOL have got a good relationship with them and saying, we need to water it down. If the PGMOL don't want their referees getting abuse, then they need to educate their referees in the VAR system. Because for me, Robbie, I understand Michael Oliver's not a great referee, in my opinion. That's my opinion. And he's going to make mistakes or he's going to do silly things. But VAR is there to say, oi, that's not a red card. You can go and look at the TV. And if you still want to give it, that's on you, because we're saying that's not a red card. And what they do is they go, Ollie, or Tails, because they're all bloody mates. And that's the big thing. Yeah. The PGMOL is broken, and I think what's going to happen this week now is because of the abuse, they'll make it all about, oh, you can't treat referees like this. We've had 2 years of this, mate.
Yeah, no, listen, Mark, everything you said, I absolutely agree with. Like you said, nobody should be getting abuse, right? And like you said, we get it. But, right, there was a lot of fans yesterday coming out, and then this is the thing. And they may not want to say this on TV. I'll say it here. There was a lot of fans coming out and thinking the timing of this, is this sort of cynically there to take away from what we're discussing? Now, listen, as we said, nobody, not a referee, not a player, not a fan should be getting the sort of abuse what we're being told he's receiving. That is wrong, right? And he is a human being and he does make mistakes, a lot of them. Right. But for me, it's the VAR thing that's even worse. Right. And I've got this theory, right, sometimes that when you've got these senior referees like a Michael Oliver, remember, he's considered one of the best. He's very senior. He'd call him one of the dons of the referees, right?
Yeah.
You imagine the lesser guys sitting in the VAR, they don't want to overturn his decision, do they? No. They don't want to go against him, because he's the big dog. I've just got that theory because I see it time and time again. How can he not be told to go to the screen and say, Mike, I think you've got that wrong. Go and have a look at that. That is the one that really baffles me. If it was just on the pitch, it still would have been a ridiculous decision because I've never seen that before. It's another one of these Michael Oliver decisions that you've never, ever seen before. Like when he sent off Martinelli for 2 yellow cards. That was at Wolves as well a few seasons ago. I don't know if you remember that.
Last year with Delo as well.
Yeah, remember that one? We sent him off in the same phase, right?
Yeah.
Right. I've never seen that. Never seen it again. Right.
He's got his own rule book.
He's got his own rule book, right? And whilst the abuse thing is shocking, like you said, questions need to be answered. The other thing that really winds me up is that I find with the PGMOL, whether it be Arsenal or whichever club it is, they never want to admit when they're wrong. Just say, sorry, we got it wrong. We're humans. We can make mistakes. Sorry, we got it wrong. We're going to take a look at what happened on Saturday. Got it wrong. Shouldn't have been, shouldn't have been a straight red. They'll always come out and try to defend it. They put out a statement trying to defend it. Yo, you can't see this position. His foot's... Come on. How many... Look at some of the tackles we saw at the weekend. The inconsistencies. And I feel Howard Webb, who's right at the top of this, who's in charge, is the one at fault. Because you can't have an organisation where every single week we're talking about PGMOL. We shouldn't even know what the PGMOL is or what it stands for. We shouldn't even know referee. Remember back in the day we used to go to football, Mark. We didn't even know referees' names.
They're always the best referees as well.
When you watch other sports, right? You're watching I watched a bit of that American football last night. You don't know any of the referees' names.
No.
You don't know when you go to watch a tennis game. You don't know the tennis umpire's name, do you? He's just the umpire, right? These guys, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. It's been a mess all season, and I feel something has to be done about it. But whether anything will be, that's another matter.
The thing is, it won't, and that's the problem, isn't it? You get it 2 weeks ago. I thought the referee in the Arsenal-Man United FA Cup game was really bad. Nothing was said. He was doing a Premier League game on Wednesday, and you're right, it's the accountability. So that is a shocking decision by Michael Oliver. VAR has backed him up, which is even more shocking. And what do we get on Sunday? We get a statement about they're not happy about the abuse Michael Oliver's got. And then Sky Sports are saying PGMOL are not happy about the sensationalist response from ex-players. So basically what they've done is they've messed up, and their first reaction is, how do we protect ourselves? How do we deflect everything off ourselves? Sensationalist, they're probably talking about Ian Wright, aren't they? Oh, it's sensationalist, it's over the top. And then even Jamie
Shearer as well. Remember, Alan Shearer said it's the worst decision he's ever seen. Yeah. And those things they were angry about. It's the guy's a pundit. He's allowed to say what he sees.
But they have this... people aren't aware of it. They have relationships with Sky and BT. They meet up with them every couple of weeks. So they'll have probably said to them, look, can you rein them in a little bit because we're getting a little bit of pressure. And then what do you have on Sky yesterday afternoon? You got Jamie Redknapp, Jamie Carragher and Lee Hendry, and they're going, look, for me, I think it is a red card, but it could be an orange. It is a bit borderline. And they're backtracking again because we need to take the pressure off. Michael Oliver's had threats and the PGMOL have had a word with us. So let's just be a little less sensationalist. And so they get away with it again. And in 2 years, you go back, Arsenal have had a load, Liverpool had that offside. They've never dealt with the problem. And I've always said this, for me, VAR and referees should be separate. They shouldn't be mates. They should be two specialist jobs so that when Oliver does that, the VAR people aren't mates with him and they go, look, our job is to analyse this. We've got the rule book. We don't think that's a red card. Go and look at it on the TV screen. If you want to uphold it, that's on you, but we've done our job. And then Michael Oliver thinks, shit, these aren't my mates looking after me anymore. I've got to go and look at this. And if I say it's a red, I already know VAR's cleared themselves and said it is a red. And then he'll shit himself and he'll go, yeah, it probably wasn't a red. But if you're back, if you go to work today, Robbie, and you make a bad decision and everyone in your workplace backs you, you'll keep making bad decisions. But if you surround yourself with people that go, hey, Robbie, I think what you said in that video on Sunday, you're bang out of order and you need to, probably say something about it on Monday. Your pride might kick in a little bit, but you'll think, maybe I have to, and this is the problem with the PGMOL. They don't self-reflect and the game suffers because of it.
Yeah, no, well, I agree with everything you said. And I couldn't believe when I heard some of those pundits saying what they were saying. But like you said, that is factually true, that they're very close. The PGMOL, there'll be phone calls made. There'll be you guys are making us look bad. There'll be somebody at Sky saying, oh, because they put out this thing about the abuse, we can't go piling in on it. I don't know anybody for the PGMOL, and I'm saying it as it is, just like you're saying it as it is. And if they don't start getting it together, they're going to ruin the game. Because to me, this season, I'm fed up. We just spent like over 10 minutes talking about that, and we're supposed to be here talking about games. It's important, but I'm fed up with talking about terrible refereeing decisions and then what is the point in having VAR if it doesn't do its job? Then let's just go back to what we used to have. So, anyway,
and you've won the bloody game as well. Arsenal won.
We won. We won.
And that's how important it is, because actually, even though you won, it's still not good enough.
We won, and I was still fuming yesterday. Even after Tottenham and all that losing, I was still fuming. But anyway, let's get into some of the other games.